This is Pete Steinberg, and I am having fun with it, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
Coming up next, men's Eagles Sevens coach Mike Friday. Brought to you by Friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap Up out of Studio 34, the Fantasy Sports Network here in New York City, and it is World Cup week, Rugby World Cup Sevens week in San Francisco. And what do? You go out and get the biggest fish in the pond. You get head coach of the Team USA Men's Eagles Sevens program. On our AFYA Sports Training Group monitor is none other than Mike Friday. Mike, welcome to Rugby Wrap Up.
Hey, how are we?
We're good. That was a little sheepish, Mike, for you. Usually welcoming somebody on a national scale.
Well, I've got to do a lot of things this end. Nothing like not being prepared. So I'm trying to hold the camera at an arm's length so you can see me, and I can try and hear you. So I'm trying my best here for you. Try my best.
Well, listen, you know better than anybody that you have to be able to multitask when you're under the USA Rugby umbrella or working in rugby all over the world, right?
You're right there. Yeah, you're right there.
All right, so I know you're in a rush and you're taking the time out of your very busy schedule, so let's get right to the nitty-gritty. On this program, in a remote location called Glendale, Colorado, Rugby Town, USA, Phil Greening said on camera that he was the head coach of Team USA.
I'm Phil Greening, and I'm the coach of the USA Sevens team, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
So Mike Friday's no longer the coach?
No, I'm the main guy.
Is Phil the head coach? Are you the head coach? Is Brownie the head coach? Is Dallin Stanford the head coach? Who's the head coach of Team USA?
Anybody who wants it. We've all got a multitask. It's called pop-up management. I think I'm the kit man this week.
Fantastic. The kit man, the pop-up management, but in all seriousness, you are the head coach. You have an exciting team, an exciting program, and you've got the World Cup right here in San Francisco for sevens. It was a coup for USA Rugby in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of handicaps to it as well. Why don't you explain the big thing on the pitch that's different for you guys in the World Cup format than what you're used to on the World Rugby Sevens circuit?
Well, for some strange reason, they've decided to make it straight knockout, one and done. So I've got no idea why or who decided it was a sensible format, because the traditional format is that, sevens is already unpredictable. So if you don't win 2 games on day one, you deserve to be out, and everybody gets that and understands that. Whereas in this competition, you can be out after 1 game, and that could be down to a decision or an action that has nothing to do with you or you have no effect or control on. So it's cutthroat. It's not gladiator. It's more like roulette in the casino. So I'm not particularly a big fan of the format that they've put in place. I don't think it portrays the game how we want it to be portrayed, and it doesn't give the box office excitement that we get on the World Series or at the Olympics. But it is what it is. It is the format. It is straight knockout, and if you lose that first game, then you're done. If you're not, then you get another shot the next day, and we've got to play potentially. To move through the competition, you play 1 game on day 1, potentially 1 game on day 2, and then 2 on day 3. So it's a very stop-start format as well to go along with the abnormalities that we're having to deal with.
So you're playing at the home of the San Francisco Giants, a baseball team, and to give it an analogy for the folks that might not be familiar with this, and by the way, I hate doing this. I hate dumbing down rugby for people that might not have seen it for the first time, because if you're watching a show like this, you probably know a little bit about rugby. But it's like playing a baseball game. You play 1 inning, and each batter gets 1 strike. Because sevens is lightning fast. To have 1 match decide whether you go on is ludicrous.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of explaining it. I think it's, the game of sevens is already very unpredictable. It's very exciting. On any given Sunday, anybody can win the tournament. But what we're now playing with here is the uncontrollables. And to put it to an extreme, it could be a very, very tight game. It could come down to an AR assistant referee decision on a call. Could come down to 1 referee call in 1 game, and that team's dream is over for 4 years. And that's what doesn't sit well with me. Doesn't sit right with me. The best teams normally make the quarterfinal. That may not happen this weekend.
So is this a product of not fully vetting what it would be to have a San Francisco Rugby World Cup Sevens because it's an expensive city and because maybe the venues. It's because we're cramming the women's and the men's Sevens tournament into one facility. If this was elsewhere, if it was in England, would this be the same format?
Oh, I'm not actually sure it's down to the USA or the host union to decide the format. I'm not sure where that has come from. I thought it was World Rugby. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the fact that you've got the men's and the women's in the same place over the 3 or 4 days makes it more difficult, but nonetheless not impossible. I think the reality is in Moscow they had the women's and the men's in the same arena. In Dubai they did the same. I just think people need to realise that you need more than one pitch. And if that means that certain games have to take place on a different pitch and then the knockout games, the important games, the finals games happen on the main pitch, then so be it. I think, trying to put everything on one pitch over a crammed period of time of 3 days is madness. But I am unsure as to who's driven the format, first and foremost, and the scheduling.
I'll tell you what. If it comes down to madness, managing madness is something that you are very strong at. So my money is on you, my friend. And but seriously, you've got lineup decisions now that are probably different than what you do in a normal format for sevens.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, without a shadow, we don't know who we're playing, and we will kind of approach Friday very differently to we would on a World Series. There's every likelihood we will play at 1 o'clock on that Friday afternoon, 7-on-7 amongst ourselves, full metal jacket, tin hats, full contact, because we need to feel some bruises, we need to get some grazes, we need to get ready for our game at 9 o'clock that night, which is not what we would normally do.
Right.
But we can't afford to be cold, we can't afford to be caught, on the hop, and that means we run the risk of injuries before we even start the competition. But it's a risk we have to take because we have to hit the ground running, and we have to ensure we are in the best position to hit that ground running, having already kind of played, because Wales and Zimbabwe will have played, and whoever is able to find their way through that game will be at an advantage over us come 9 o'clock that night. Absolutely.
How's the health of the squad and the general pulse of the team right now?
I mean, health is good. We've got a very strong 12. You'll have to ask me after that scrimmage on Friday whether health is still good, because we've run the risk. But everybody's worked hard over these last 2 or 3 weeks. That's not just the 12 that have made it, but the guys that haven't made it raised their game. They pushed the players. They pushed their boundaries. They increased competition, and the 12 had to step up and earn their shirt. And they've done that. Now, it's probably the 12 that a lot of people would have picked, but that's credit to them in the fact that they've risen to the challenge of the guys that are snapping at their heels. So we're in good shape. We've got good flexibility in our combinations. Over the season, we've had to develop players to play different positions, and they've risen to that challenge. So we're more than capable. If we're on point, we're confident, and we control and take ownership of the things we can control of going deep in this competition.
Have you gotten a lot of grief on social media about me not being in the lineup?
Well, honestly, as always, it's difficult to deal with those types of social media outbursts. But, so far so good. Macca Unefi is a relieved man that your sidestep has missed out to his. I'm sure the tension will grow for me. I'm sure I'll get more social media. I'm always in trouble on social media, so this will just be another thing.
Well, the greatest thing about you, seriously, is that you're transparent and you're not afraid to mix it up with people on camera, or you're accessible, which is great.
Well, yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Sometimes our marketing people think that, but I think the reality is that if you've got to put yourself out there. You do have to be honest and objective with your point of views, and you have to do that in the right way. And sometimes my emotion and my passion gets the better of me, both on the side of the pitch and sometimes on social media. But I do it with good intent. I do it with a good, honest outlook, and hopefully with a smile and a bit of fun as well. So we can't take life too seriously, but the reality is, I think if we are in the positions we are, we need to be transparent and open with our views, and we need to kind of take what comes back at us as well in the spirit is intended.
When you guys take this cup, where's your first stop on the cup tour?
Well, Well, I mean, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I mean, if we ever got anywhere near that, then wherever. Really, I think it would just be important for the boys to savour those types of moments if they manage to achieve it. And there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of fences to cross. But I think there's a number of the players are actually from the Bay Area, so hopefully loved ones will be there to watch them and support them, and that will drive them on. I mean, I think playing on home territory for our boys is a big positive. They enjoy that responsibility and they love the confidence and the energy and the passion that the American rugby sporting crowd bring. That coupled with the fact that, we're going to be on NBC and hopefully the wider sporting landscape will get to see the Dogs run. And we've also got that Pioneers documentary coming out on NBC on Wednesday.
That's right. All good stuff. All good stuff. You've been right there front and center for this exciting Sevens team, Olympics. But prior to that, you turned the organization around. I'm going to toot my own horn one more time because I was calling for you to be the head coach of this team a long time ago. But that's just sour grapes. Anyway, Coach, best of luck. I'll be out there Thursday screaming for you guys. Safe travels, and we'll see you in San Francisco.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you, Matt. Don't forget, bring your boots because you never know. Friday scrimmage, you might get shot.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's it. Mike Friday, head coach of Team USA's Sevens program. The Eagles facing off against the world in San Francisco at the home of the San Francisco Giants for the Rugby World Cup Sevens tournament this weekend. Don't miss it, and wear your red, white, and blue for the boys. Thank you, Coach. Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap-Up here at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 in New York City, signing off.